All right, so it has, I guess this is a template to put on the doors, you know, because you do have, you know, latch doors usually only come with one hole. So this may require a secondary small hole to be able to install it. So we'll see about that. What is this? Yeah, see, this is talking about that. So they actually call it an extra security hole. So it's probably not necessary, but if you wanted to extra secure it, then you would add that third hole, that second hole on top to secure it. It's going interior. I'm not gonna make that hole. I don't need extra security. I'm inside. If you're inside and need to get into that, you'll do whatever it takes. So you come, it has you got the left and right handle. So whatever orientation you have. And this is probably why this unit is kind of pricey. Not compared to other units that I've seen there, but you get extra hardware, and it's just metal. Listen, that's metal, man. It's not plastic. All right, there's the unit itself with a thumbprint. Oh, that's pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and install this, and let's take it step by step. All right, so I guess I missed out. There's a few more unboxing here, so let's unbox the rest of this. Gotta tell you folks, I'm impressed. This is metal. This is not plastic. All right, so let's remove this right here. It's pretty heavy. It's metal. This is durable stuff. All right, so that's what we're looking at there. Got some of the hardware here. Well, you got your backup keys in the bag. And, you know, I showed you earlier the tools that you need. Well, look, if you don't have a screwdriver, not a problem. They include a screwdriver for you. Sweet. And of course, you got your keys. Your backup keys. And you got your hardware screws. All right, put everything back. I like to keep it organized, so let me make sure I put this back here. Okay, the other end, this is the part that goes inside. See that it comes apart? All right, there's a plate that we're gonna be installing. Of course, we got our hardware. Got to put a new one. It's a new latch. Includes batteries and a latch plate for the other side. With this thing right here. I'm fighting the cold, so that's why it sounds like this. All right. So we got our hardware in place. So let's go ahead, take this to the room and get it installed. So to install this, the instruction says all you need is a screwdriver or a screwdriver. That's what I prefer to use. So we're going to start with the latch first, and you know, depending on which side the door is on, depends how this is going to go in. So my door locks on this side, see, closes like that. So I'm going to have to install the latch this way because I need it to smoothly slide in and lock there like that. All right. So that's the way I'm going to install it on my door. Your door, whichever one you choose, depends. Now they do have an extension for this, so this happens to fit just right without me having to make any small adjustments. The only thing I may have to do is right here, you kind of see it doubles out a little bit too much. I may need to go in there and chisel in a little more in here, just to get that a little bit more flatter, because right now it's not. So the level of difficulty in this is not the installing the hardware, it's the fitting of the hardware. All right, make sure that it fits inside here, and make sure that it fits inside here. Make sure the other end fits inside there as well. So it's usually fitting, and it does take a little bit of knowledge of how to do that. But you can kind of tell, you know, I just need to go in here with a chisel, move out. So I'm going to introduce another tool aside from the different screwdrivers that I've showed you so far, and I'm going to include a chisel to get that done. So as you can see, I removed the latch, the existing latch that was there. It's no longer there, so I'm going to replace it with a new latch. Now this fits almost. As you can see, again, we got a fitting issue. Now I could save myself some time and not having to do this. I could still use their, nope, can't. That's another thing too. So in order to use their hardware, you're gonna have to make sure you do some chiseling. As I mentioned, you probably don't need to with the existing stuff because it should fit right in there, no problems. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to make it fit. So it looks like I need to carve out more here, and I also need to carve out a little bit more at the top here, chisel away, and it should be good once I do that. So it looks like I still got a few more here to go too. You can see it right there, just right around here, around the edges. I need to get in there. All right, let's get to work. So I'm gonna go mark this off. Go. That's our chisel marks right there. Be right underneath the line here. Be right up in here. Look how much I have to chisel. That's a lot. But once I do that, that should fit in just fine. Okay. So I got the plastic thing here to sit pretty flush against that. It's not screwed in, so you gotta take it out. Little chisel work there. Got it to fit in close as possible as it can. Now, the plate goes right over that, like that. So it looks like you could use the existing hole at the top. I'm gonna have to make a new hole at the bottom. Not a problem. And that should sit flush and fit just right. Okay. Keep going. All right, there it is, installed. So nice flush fit on both sides. Door's supposed to slide right in, snap in here. Get the plastic protector so it doesn't look like wood. That's more for aesthetics. So again, if you don't really care about that, I wouldn't even bother putting this plastic protector in or whatever it is. It doesn't really do anything. More aesthetics. It looks clean. So I just thought I'll use it. It looks pretty good. So the next steps are to prepare the lock itself. Now there's two parts, right? You got the interior, which has a little nipple here. And we have the exterior part, which has the thumbprint, but also in the back you got the 3 extruding screw holes with the interior female end of the this part right here. So according to the instructions, we're going to work with this first and prepare it. It comes with this little spring, and we're just going to enter the spring right in here. So that's preparation number 1. I'm going to leave it there. On to the next one. I already prepared the door, right? You've seen that. The door preparation is next. And I did that. So we're going to start the assembly of this actually. And we're going to start first installing the exterior to the interior. So we're going to start with the exterior side first. Let's take a look. So take a look. So there's a security hole here, which I'm not using. You should be, if you wanted to use that additional help, you install a hole somewhere around here, and that connects to there too. I'm not going to do that. This is interior door. I'm perfectly fine with it not having to be that secure. So now these two right here, you got to get them through right here. That's the trick. The cable kind of floats on the top. See how it sits right there? That's pretty much what you want. Now we take this piece, right in here. Now you kind of see that it's if you look at it this way, it almost looks rounded. It doesn't. Instructions don't really say which way to put it in. So, but you notice it's kind of rounded there, but the square is a square hole. So if you look at that, that is how it should look. Let's go ahead and get that in there. All right, it looks like that's in place. Now, at this point, if I let go, that might fall out. What I like to do is put a piece of tape in the back of this where the door is being held so I could let that go and work on the other end. So I'm going to do that now because this way, it's only me. I could install it by myself, but I need an extra hand to hold this up. Or I don't trust it staying like that. That may fall and damage my floor. So I'm just going to put some tape, painter's tape, right? Something you could easily come off without messing up the door, to paint the door. And once I do that, it should be fine. But you notice we got a cable out. We got our screws very nicely fitted in there to receive the screws that are coming on the other side. All right. Now here's a little bit of an annoying problem. So as I was trying to assemble this on the door, the spindle has to be inside the door when you put the interior part in place. But remember, when we assembled this, it asked us to put this spring inside of here. So here's the problem. When I put the spring inside of there, if you notice, the spring is not equal all the way around. You'll see yours. This part right here is a little wider than it goes, and it gets narrow. Now, the way it's supposed to go in, I'm assuming, because it doesn't really clarify this there in the instructions, is that the thinner part goes in first, then the thicker part. So as I did that, one, I realized it doesn't go all the way in, but then the spindle won't fit in there because it's being blocked by that spring. And it's probably because, see the spring right here? There's this little piece that sticks out right here. So that must be like an extra twist or something like that. So I'm going to see what I need to do in order to make this fit in. I may just cut that piece off and let it slide down and then pop this in. So that may be the fix to it. But that's annoying. If you think that's normal, that's the way it should be. No, it's not. That's not the way it should be. It's a manufacturing problem right here with the spring itself. Probably need to find a new spring manufacturer. And once I cut that, this should fit in right there in the spindle. It's because look, without it, the spindle fits in just fine. See, goes right in. Once I put the spring in there, and I'm supposed to twist it and put it in. See, there's no twist because of there, but so I do that, it prevents it from going in. So, instructions are great, but you gotta look at what you have and make adjustments to things. Things aren't going to be perfect, even though they should be. You paid a lot of money for this. All right, let me fix that and then I'll get back to you. Now the instructions tell you to remove the spindle. If you do that, the door may fall off if you don't have tape on the backside, which makes this job a little bit more harder for a one person to do it. So I suggest you leave it in there and just screw it in. It's my screwdriver just fell. So this is, the difficult part is just finding the holes here. I line them up and then screw them in. Probably easier to start with the top hole. Got that one. I could align the two bottom holes and Now these should not be forced in, these should go in smoothly. So if you feel that you're like, you can't even twist them with your hands, take them out, realign them, get them in there. Do not force these in. These should not be forced in at all. You should be able to screw them in just like I am with your hands, with bare hands, and it should go in just fine. If you feel that you are getting some resistance while you're turning and it's not moving in, then take it out, realign it, because that means it didn't go in right. Okay, now my hands are a little too thick for this part. I'm gonna use my screwdriver to finish off the rest of this. Start with the top. And if you notice, I'm not going in all of them all at the same time, because I want it to go in as flat and as even as possible. So I'm just taking a little bit at a time as I push them in. One gradually goes in more than the other. Kind of going in that. Just kind of evenly trying to get them in, rotate them in until it tightens up. And even though I have the tape on the back side or on the exterior, I'm still holding it until it's completely screwed in. Okay, there we go. Almost there. Now you don't need to align these because you got these two screws here that aligns this pretty straight. So there's no alignment needed. Okay, there we go. Now this, you know, you don't want to tighten these too hard. As long as you can tighten it with your hand, there's no screwdrivers needed for this. That should be sufficient. So I mentioned there is a security screw here, which I'm not using, or sorry, here, which I'm not using, because this is my interior door. It's meant for an interior application, so having it like this is fine. Plus, you notice the screws are inside. I still got to screw something on top of this that's going to secure the screws. So to get to this door, there's a lot of work that needs to happen. And that's a good fit. That's not moving anywhere. And this is in there already. So the instructions show you install this first, then install this. But as you notice, I installed it with this in the way. Worked out just fine. Actually, it helped with stabilizing the exteriors, kept it on the door. Because once I removed it, it felt like it was coming off. So let's take a look. Start with connecting this again. Oh, let me put my spindle back in there. Okay, that's in there. Connect it. And it connects very easily, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and adjust the cable. Put it in the spindle. There it is. Snaps right in. Nothing to hold. It's awesome. It's probably shouldn't show that, huh? Okay, so let me go ahead and screw it in. So I showed you the trio of screws that you need, right? The two big ones and the one small one. So, oops. Two big ones go right in here. Put the other one in. Like I said, when there's like that, just kind of make sure they go in evenly. That hurts my hand. It's too narrow. This last one right here. Oh, this one's a little, okay. So if it feel like it's you feel a little friction when you're screwing these things in, take it out, do it again. It did not go in right. So the friction should only be right when you're tightening it up. So they should go in very smoothly. If they feel like you got a little bit of friction, take it out, do it again. It did not go in straight. All right, so I'm just hand tightening these. Nothing very strong. Right there. That's in place. All right, cable's connected. Install the battery in the cover and start programming. We're done. Let's get the batteries in here. So they include batteries for you. These right here, alkaline batteries. So this is the last step of this, and then from here we go into installing the knobs, and then the start programming. So that's in, and so I'm not sure if it's turned on at this point because there's no lights. Not sure if there's an on button yet. Oh, there's lights on the other side. It's on. So it's batteries. Got it working. Put the cover on and screw it. You got a security screw or just a screw. Now, this one screw that goes here, this one should have been a security screw, like a hex or something like that, to go in here. But I can understand they probably made it to get easily accessible to the battery. But the problem is that this is your entry to the rest of the world. You got your two screws here. Take that out. You got a screw here. You can start disassembling this, no problem. So, excuse me. They should have made this one at least a security screw. I may go ahead and find one in the future because I'm using this as an Airbnb. And I don't want to come home one day and find this is gone because they figured out how to disassemble it. So I'm gonna change this one. So I'm gonna make sure I find out what size this is from the book, the manual, and look for one that's a hex and change it out. So that I will do. Whoa. Maybe I should start with my hands first. Yeah, I can just screw it in with my fingers. Oh, is that going in right? Oh, okay, it is a long screw. So I actually got to push in it. I got to push it first. I got to get past this plastic layer. Well, looks like there's a screw on there. Let me do this then. So this plastic layer actually has a nipple, comes out there. This is a pretty long screw. So it's gonna sit very flush in there. It has to go all the way into there. So I'm having a hard time pushing it through. But now I know that I can. So this is the one screw that if you feel any friction, go ahead and muscle through it because it's got to get past this plastic layer first. And it's probably not there. So once you get it past the plastic layer, now just slide it in. So that's probably an easy way to do it. Pop the screw in there first, and then screw it in. Not too tight because this is plastic, and you squeeze it too hard, it may break. As long as it's flush, you're good to go. All right, so that part's installed. Now let's install the handles. Now for the handle, there's these clips right here. And that is going to show right in here. See that part right there? Where my thumb is? That's the that's clip. That's what holds it in. So to take it off, I think you just push on the clip and slide it off. So it's really easy. It snaps right in. And there's clips on both sides of these, so right or left hand, right? depending on your orientation. So one is going to go in this way. So the clip interior is what holds it. So there's no screws here. Literally slide in, clip, and you're done. So let me go ahead and take care of that. And it doesn't matter which way you start because you're just sliding it in. And just got to make sure it clips in. And it clips in. I feel it. That was pretty solid. I'm going to do the other side now. And that's in too. And that's pretty solid. That's not coming away. Oh, I'm using metal. Love it. All right, let's take a look at all that. There it is. Battery just came on, so now I'm going to program it. This was just an installation video, so I'm not going to get into programming. There's tons of stuff for that. And so that's it.